Hello, I'm Cactus Frog, and welcome to my channel where I explain the different books of the Bible. Right now we're on Genesis. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into where we left off, which is Genesis 3. So we talked about how God put a tree in the middle of the garden, and he said, don't eat from this tree. And I gave you guys a little bit of spoilers. Adam and Eve definitely ate from that tree. So we're going to hear about that story first. What happens is, God told them, don't eat from this tree. He was very clear. He said, if you eat from this tree, you're going to die. And then he went and did his God stuff. So it's just Eve and Adam at this point, and they're just chilling, hanging around, doing whatever they do. And the serpent comes up and starts talking to Eve. And he's like, man, I can't believe God told you not to eat from any of these trees. You can't eat any of this fruit from any tree. And Eve, being the silly person she is like, yeah, I'm going to talk to this snake. And she's like, what? No, God didn't say that. He said I can eat from any tree except for the tree in the middle, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And the snake's like, oh, he said you can't eat from that tree or you're going to die. And she's like, yep. God said if I even touch it, I'm going to die. And that's an important part right there because God didn't say that. So this woman is straight up putting words in God's mouth. He said don't eat it. He didn't say you couldn't touch it, right? So I think the serpent, he notices that. He notices, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about because serpent knows what's going on. And he's like, really? God said that? He said if you even touch it, you're going to die? Wow, you know what? I don't think that's true. Like, and I bet he was like, go up, touch it, just touch it, see what happens, right? And she's like, And she, she's tempted because I guess the fruit looked especially delicious, The fruit you can't have is the fruit you really want. She touches it, she doesn't die, so she starts going like, oh, maybe God was wrong. And the snake is trying to convince her. He's like, yeah, like, take a bite. You know what the real thing is, Eve? God said you shouldn't have this, not because you're going to die, because you're not going to die. He doesn't want you to be like him. Because if you eat this, your eyes are going to be open. You're going to be smart. You're going to have all this wisdom, and you're going to be exactly like God. You might even be better than God. And that's what tempted her right there. Okay, she was being all prideful. She was like, oh, I can be like God. Now remember, in our last video, the whole point of God making them was for them to be like him to begin with, right? But over time, by being with him and observing him and learning from him, they're supposed to slowly become like God. Kind of like how we raise kids. Now, this woman, she's trying to take a loophole. She's trying to take a shortcut, right? So she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to be like God. And I'm going to know the difference between right and wrong, right? No. So she eats the apple or the fruit. And then I guess Adam's with her this entire time and just has not stepped in to stop anything. Watch this whole thing unfold. And she's like, Adam, it's delicious. Have some. So he eats it. He doesn't even put up a fight. There's not even any dialogue between them. She just says eat it, and he does. And as soon as they eat it, bam, their eyes are open and they realize they're naked. And they start getting all embarrassed and stuff, covering themselves up. And they can hear God coming. And they know they've done wrong. So they hide. And God's calling out, like, where are you guys at? Why is he calling out? He should know where they're at. I think he does. I don't know. We move past things like that. Point is, he's calling out. And they're like, we're here, God. We hid because we were naked and we were embarrassed. And God's like, who told you you were naked? Right? He's got these questions. What do you mean? Naked? What? And they're like, oh, we ate the fruit and that's how we realized we're naked. Okay, so why would you eat the fruit though? Because I've been and told y'all not to eat this, which is crazy that you did. And so he turns to man because I made you first. We've run through these rules probably multiple times. And what does man do? Does he man up? Does Adam man up and go, look, I ate it. I'm sorry. I was wrong. No. Now, maybe if he did, God wouldn't have cursed the world and cursed people. But no, man did not man up. Adam did not man up. Instead, he was like, I I only ate it because Eve gave it to me. And honestly, thinking back on it, God, you made her. I was perfectly content with the animals. You're the one who wanted to make her. And then she tempted me with this fruit. So really, God, this is your fault. Right? You see how he spent that around? Because before, he was asking God to make somebody because he was lonely. Right? But now, all of a sudden, well, you're the one who made her, God, and she's the one who gave it to me. So really, I'm not to blame for anything. And God's like, okay, whatever. Turns to woman. You knew the rules too, woman. Why did you eat the fruit? She's not taking responsibility either. She's just like, well, that snake told me to eat it. And really, God, when you think about it, you made everything and you made the snake too. So really, it's on you again, right? So neither one of them are taking responsibility for their actions at this point. And God's like, okay, we're done. Like, I'm not just go back and forth with y'all. Turns to snake. What the fuck, snake? Well, why were you? What's going on? Snake didn't even have a defense, okay? God's like, whatever. Curses on you, curses on your children, curses on your livestock, curse on the ground. He tells woman, it's gonna hurt to have babies, it's gonna hurt to be pregnant. He tells snake, you don't got legs no more. Like, I guess it was a serpent at first. He's like, look, serpent, now you're a snake. Ain't got no legs, no arms, snake now. Man, you're gonna have to till this ground, and it's gonna be hard work. Labor, and y'all are banned. Get out my garden. Get out my garden. He kicks them out. Not only that, he tells the angels, now that they have sinned and brought sin into my perfect world, we can't have none of this eating from the tree of life stuff, because the last thing we need is some immortal little sinning humans. So God sets some angels out, and they now have to protect this tree to make sure man doesn't sneak back in and try to eat the tree of life to live forever, right? So that's how we got kicked out. Now they're out living in this fallen world. Adam's working day and night trying to provide a living. Eve is, I don't know what she's doing. She's helping somehow. And they end up having 2 kids for now. They have Cain first. And then they have Abel. Again, this is a very well-known story, but here's my interpretation. Cain and Abel, they know God. God's still around. He kicked them out of the garden, but it's not like he's not around no more. And they grow up in the presence of God, because God's still kind of walking among people at this point. He's still like hanging around, right? So Cain, he's a farmer. Abel, he's a shepherd. He's taking care of lamb and livestock. And it says that they both wanted to give something to God, give gifts to God, sacrifice to God. Now, the farmer, Cain, gave some of his goods to God, just some. And that's all it says. Whereas it says Abel gave the best he had. He gave the best of the best of the best, the firstborn, the best of the firstborn, the spotless, perfect. He sacrificed as much as he could to God, right? So he put his best foot forward. And God was like, I appreciate that. That's what I appreciate about you, Abel. And then he turned to Cain and was like, yeah, I don't want this corn or whatever. Like, you're giving me defective products and you're saving the best for yourself on some selfish type stuff. So I'm not even going to accept this type of sacrifice, because this is not even really a sacrifice. Who are you to give me hand-me-downs like I'm not God out here? And Cain upset about that. Again, remember, his daddy don't take responsibility. So the son also not taking responsibility. And for some reason, he starts taking his anger out on his brother out in the field one day. Boom, kills him. And it's just done with that, I guess. Like, Abel didn't do nothing to you. Lord is looking for Abel, because that's his favorite right now, because Abel puts in the work. And he's like, Cain, where's your brother? Cain responds with that to, am my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to know where he is all the time? He's a grown man. I don't need to be tracking his whereabouts. And also, are you not God? Why are you asking me these questions? I didn't do nothing wrong. God's like, bet, you're right. I can hear his blood screaming from the ground. You killed your brother. And so I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you to leave. You got to really leave. I kicked your family out of the garden. Now I'm kicking you out of the land. Go, be a wanderer. And I'm going to put this mark on you. So now no one can ever kill you. You're going to basically live alone and sad without the presence of me, right? Which is the same thing as hell, essentially. It's hell on earth because you're living without the presence of God. So Cain goes and wanders, does his own thing. He finds a wife, has some kids, etc., right? Now Adam and Eve, the one son's vanished, one son's dead. They decide to have another son. Eve is like, thank you, God, you blessed me. They named their third son Seth. And it's kind of from Seth that people start coming forth, right? Now Cain again is out there having kids. And I guess at this time there's also like giants, because angels are coming down and they're, I think, reproducing with people and making weird giant babies or something. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, Adam has some descendants now. People are starting to really fill up the earth, and they're living long. Adam is living like to be 950 years old or something. So everyone's living for a very long time. And eventually, God goes, these people are living too long. It don't sit right with my spirit for these people to be living so long. In the future, lifespans, I'm capping it, 120 years max. Y'all are hanging around too long, doing all this sin and stuff. So that's why we don't live 900 and some years like Adam did, I guess. Because I guess if you live long enough, sin is inevitable. You're just gonna live a dirty life long enough. So now, everyone's lives are shorter, but they're all still doing that evil. Okay, it says that they're sinning left and right. Everybody's sinning. Kids, women, dogs, everybody. Okay, so God's like, ugh, why did I even make these people? I mean, every step of the way, they have annoyed me. Lying, stealing, not listening, killing, raping, they're terrible. Oh my goodness. Why did I make them? They've made my whole earth messed up. I don't want nothing to do with this no more. I'ma flood them, right? But he found favor in one guy, Noah. God's like, okay, he's the only one left that I can even really say has some potential. At this point, everybody else is corrupt. So he's like, look, Noah, you're good, so your kids are good, right? So I'm going to make a covenant with you. Build this boat, okay? Because I'm about to flood the earth. You build this boat, get on the boat with your wife, your sons, his 3 sons, and their wives. Take one of every type of one pair of every type of animal, and that's what's going to save us, all right? This is the saving grace. Everybody else is about to die. So that's what Noah does, because he's obedient. That's what sets him apart from everybody else, is he actually listens when God tells him to do something. So he builds this boat, puts everyone on. God makes a flood. Floods for like 150 days, kills everybody, everything, okay? And then floodwaters start going down, okay? Noah's sending out birds to see when the waters are gone. Eventually, the birds stop coming back. That's how he knows the flood's gone. And he comes out and he looks around. Everybody's dead. Everybody's gone. Everything's washed away. Everything's new. Okay? At this point, Noah's 600 years old. He's one of the last people to be living extra long, right? So lifespans are getting shorter and shorter. So he comes out. Everyone he's ever known, been gone. Okay? And he's already old. All he has is his wife and his sons and their wives. So what does he do? He builds an altar. He praises God real quick. He says, thank you, Lord, for saving me and my family. I appreciate you. But also, it seems that he's going through something, okay? Because he also plants a vineyard, makes some wine. So this is like a long process, right? Gotta grow wine at this point. Gotta make it. And then he gets drunk. He gets very drunk, it says. So drunk that he's passed out in his tent naked, right? Which, let's give him some grace. Everybody he knows has already dead. They're already dead, except for his family. So I feel like in this situation, it makes sense that you would be a little depressed, get drunk, pass out. Okay. His sons, it's like one's Ham, the other one's like, I don't know the other two's names. They're hard to pronounce. I remember Ham though. Ham walks in, he's the youngest. He sees his dad's naked. I guess he thinks it's funny. So he, instead of covering his dad, he goes and tells his brother, he's like, y'all gotta look at this. Our old man's drunk and naked, right? His older brothers, they're like, oh, that's terrible. They put a robe on their shoulders. They start backing into the tent so they don't even see their dad naked, so they can try and preserve his honor, and they cover him up, right? When the dad, Noah, wakes up, he's like, oh, fuck Ham. How dare he do this to me, embarrassing me like this? I'm going through something right now. I could appreciate some understanding. So he curses Ham. Not only just he curses Ham, he curses Ham's son, which a little unfair, but Old Testament people, they're on another level. They're very vengeful people. So he's like, Ham, because of what you did, your son will be the servants to their cousins. Okay, your descendants will now forever serve your brother's descendants because of you and your one decision. So that's essentially the story of that. Side note, God does make a covenant with Noah. He says, I'm not going to kill everybody like that no more. I can see that took a lot out of you. It was a very difficult situation. It had to be done. I don't regret it. But I'm not going to do that no more. Okay? I'm going to find a new way to save people. Here's a hint. It's going to be Jesus. But I'm not going to do that no more. Okay? No more killing. No more mass genociding people. I've moved past that. I'm going to try a salvation route now. Okay? Now, as a symbol of my promise to you, Noah, I'm going to make rainbows. Every time it rains, I'm going to put a rainbow in the sky. That'll remind me not to kill everybody again. So now that you know that, every time you see a rainbow, go, oh, thank you, God. Thank you for not murdering all of us again. Thank you for not flooding the earth. I appreciate that. Point is, that's what happened. That's why everything's fresh and new. And I guess from Noah's 3 sons, the earth was repopulated again, right? They each made different tribes. The tribes had their own culture and stuff. They made a lot of people just from those 3. And we're going to figure out what happens when all those people decide to get together, all his sons' descendants decide to get together and build something that annoys the God again. Just for future reference, most of the Bible is just people doing stuff that annoys God. And him almost killing us for it. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's like, okay, that's annoying. Dead. But sometimes he's like, you're lucky my boy over here. He's holding me back because I really want to kill all y'all. So yeah, that's most of the Old Testament. It's just God holding back because we just annoy him every step of the way. But through his love and mercy and his forgiveness, luckily, we are not being ended right now. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again for listening. Don't forget to like my channel, subscribe, and share it. And if you know someone who doesn't really know the Bible, definitely tell them, hey, listen to Cactus Frog. She's going to explain the Bible in a way that's a little bit easier to understand. And she's going to skip over all the weird genealogy stuff because it's important, but is it really that important? No, it's not. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.